problem with politically correct people is that they're too busy hating themselves to see the real injustices occurring in the world. Ravi Crux. Social media crossing the line. A legal discussion by the Impolitique. Presented by Ravi Crux. Follow us on Twitter and Gab. Shadow banning. Is it a corporate expenditure that requires disclosure under federal election laws? The FEC, the organization that sets the regulation around campaign and political party activities, has imposed limits on corporate speech and spending. This was overturned by the case Citizens United. SCOTUS ruled limits by government on corporate political speech and spending was unconstitutional. Though the ruling banned government restrictions on corporate speech or spending for corporations, they still have limitations. Corporations must disclose speech by in public disclaimer and expenditures in public FEC filings. Specifically, the disclaimers required provide the electorate with information and ensure that the voters are fully informed about the person or group who is speaking. Identification of the source of advertising may be required as a means of disclosure so that the people will be able to evaluate the arguments to which they are being subjected. Twitter and Facebook and shadow banning. Conservative users of social media have complained of shadow or outright banning for having expressed political views. Users complain biased standards in objectionable speech that results in blocking, suspending, or closing accounts. Then there's shadow banning, when users complain about their posts and accounts are hidden or suppressed for public consumption. Users are not informed by their accounts being suppressed. Activity is usually found by account followers or inadvertently by the user. If found, would shadow banning or biased standards violate FCC rules? This depends on the website's stated objectives. If the sites state that they exist to support liberal causes, not campaigns, then it's permissible. However, if these activities are applied to benefit a political party or campaign directly, then they are in violation for failure to disclose their activities and the money they've spent in furtherance of these activities. What's the difference between promoting speech and suppressing a view? Well, consumers that use social media gravitate towards or away from those that inform or align with their interests. So a user wouldn't seek out a pro-Dreamers website to engage with users that want stricter immigration laws. Not typically. If a social media corporation holds itself out as open and general to the public, more than just consumers rely on this. Users and the massive industry of polling for finance, marketing, and politics use this medium as representative of the general public voice. Suppression misleads public view individually and generally. Could actions be harmless bias? Sanctions that are accused of being biased might be harmless because they are made clear to users, though incidents and causes of sanctions should be politically available to users and purchasers of data. Shadow banning is not harmless. Shadow banning is meant to distort the public view to the consuming public and to the subsequent data purchasers. Its ultimate effect is to promote an alternative view as a consensus. This is not innocuous. If designed with intent and objective to directly benefit one party and its candidates, there should be disclosures. And money spent to advance this objective should be subjected to disclosure filings. If shadow banning does exist, the practice, the parameters, and those banned must be informed. If banning was done with the intent of benefiting one party and its candidates, all of the money spent in furtherance of this activity must be disclosed in federal filing, disclosed through disclaimers, and disclosed to shareholders. Based on the wealth of evidence by users to support the claims of shadow banning, these corporations should be investigated for the practice and potential FEC violations. Hey guys, Ravi Crux here. If you'd like some of the material that I'm putting together, feel free to add me up and subscribe on the various social media websites. You can find me on Gab, Twitter, VidMe, and YouTube. Thanks again. Ravi Crux. Indoctrination is everywhere.